I'm going to go to Ben in Tallahassee. Ben, how are you?
Great, Basil. How are you?
Very good, thank you. You'd like to look at?
Yeah, so a couple questions, and the first one, a little bit higher priority, so if you got time for the second one, great. Are the Qs in a monthly peak C still?
Yes. I have to be very strict. Normally, under these conditions with all the others in Ds and Es, I would say let me look for two parallel highs that I can count as a phantom peak C. So if you look at the highs that were made, there were three of them. 145.96 July of 2017, so 596. Then we go to 146.21, just what, 50 cents higher for August of 2017. And then 46.21, it goes to 46.59. So technically, I'm going to wait on this. I would say, I like to be ahead of the game. I don't like to be behind. So I would normally, I'm just going to do it for demonstration. Then I'm going to go back to what I would like to keep it at. I'd make that a phantom C and say, all of the on-balance volume did pull back, and that gives me a legitimate reason to say fractional new highs in a major monthly chart says, hey, maybe we are in D, but the technicals are still so strong. I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't have to make those decisions right now because we have to still get a real big sell signal to a sell mode this week on Friday. If the Qs close poorly, that'll say that weekly chart already is in a sell mode. So the answer is absolutely correct. You're 100% correct. But the one or two times ever that I changed the notation in a monthly chart, I did that years ago in crude oil. I missed it because it was a C. And when I finally went back months and months later, I remember being on air saying, I've got a sell signal in the daily. I've got a sell mode signal even in the weekly. It's just this monthly, so we never went short, which was a great shame. It was a perfect shorting opportunity. When I went back, eventually, I wonder if I've got it here. And I'll show you, because I need to just explain that you don't have a methodology if you're if you're fitting it to a technique.
And then is the NASDAQ the same as the Qs, or is that in a D?
I'll be back. Can you hold on? And we'll be back, and we'll talk about it. I'll be back, folks. Basil Chapman. Folks, we're back. We're back with Ben. I'm just showing you the monthly chart of crude oil. There was that phantom peak that I thought I should use, and I didn't use it. It went to a peak C, but actually that really was a D on July of 2008. And what a turn down. This is a continuous contract, so it was somewhere in the 216 area for crude oil, and then it comes down to 89.11. Anyway, that's the chart that we're looking at. So I need to just keep it in mind. It's very important that I keep these things in mind, because if I lose context, then I'm in trouble. So now let's go back to.
Is that the only? Let's call it. Index of importance that's in a peak C right now, and all the others.
In the Qs, let me just see if I've still got this notated. Give me 1 second here. NDX, I think, I don't know why I've lost it. The NDX, I believe, is exactly the same, because it had in July of last year, it was 599,577. Hey, 599. 45. You know what? I'm going to I'm in D in the NDX 100. I didn't see that. Yes. Oh, thank you for bringing this up. It's a 20-cent, 30-cent difference, and it's 32 cents, and that makes a difference. We're in D. Okay, now we got all of these in at least a D. Thank you for, okay. I thought I recalled that, and then I completely forgot about it. You just reminded me. Thank you very much. So I'll be back. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do that in a little bit more detail, so I've got it. I don't want to be incorrect about it. So now your question is, just quickly, the QQQs. Let me just say, at this particular point, if the Qs break about 157-ish, 159-ish support on the short term, and then hold for an entire 2 to 3 days below that level, then I'm going to look at this really closely. And one of the reasons is that you've got some of the real biggies like Amazon, which these are all part of the Qs that are making tops. But Amazon had that round number high, and today it's kind of fading. It's up only 5, and that 1498 round number high is at a peak D. And I'm going to be watching this real closely, because if these real big major stocks, the core of the modern American society, if they start to turn down, I don't think the Qs are going to be all holding up. So that was your first question. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm watching this very closely. Even the action today, just up 0.07, not very good action considering that the Dow is up 1.1%. Your next question was?
Yeah, so this, just pure personal opinion, and I know I've asked this a few times. This computer-based trading.
Yes.
And I'm making an assumption that these H patterns that you identify, I think you're spot on, and I think it's based on human psyche and emotions and whatever it is that creates these H patterns.
Right.
Would you agree? Because I feel strongly that the sell-off was exacerbated by hitting certain points in these algorithms that may have exacerbated the trading. So having said that, if you agree, if we have a strong H pattern and these patterns kind of hold up like they did, 30 years ago before, these computer-based trading systems, is it fair to say that these formations, whether it's computer or you have someone behind a computer trading, that somehow the consistency is remaining the same, whether it's a PC making the exchange transaction or a person?
So let me just get to this. I remember trading 30 years ago. I remember very well that it wasn't computer-generated anything. It was, I thought of the word just a moment ago, program selling, program buying and program selling. And that was basically when certain, give me a second. I'm going to extrapolate a whole bunch of stuff so that I can articulate my thoughts clearly. One is, I've always said when I used to trade options that most option players didn't particularly know exactly which way things were going to go, but as soon as it tilted to a particular level, it's not as if they all, I don't even know who they is, if they all, gave a thumbs up and everybody piled in and went long or short, whatever the direction was. But what happens is, I've been a conductor, a music conductor in my day, and it's the same thing. The orchestra does everything, but you are just giving that little extra speed or a little slowdown, a little nudge. It's like in the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Do they need a conductor? No, they're good enough to play anything without a conductor. But a conductor just gives them that, is the coach, is the Belichick, is the one that really just gives that little edge. So that's now what I'm saying is that if you go to program trading, if you go to electronic trading, you go to anything. I have a book I've spoken about very often by, it's called The Wave. And I was actually going to interview the author, and I didn't. But it's an incredible book. I can't see the title right now. It's up on my shelf. All right, I can't see it. And what she spoke about is that she was just a journalist and then got interested in surfing. And she then, at the exact time that these guys out in California were surfing 80-foot and then 100-foot and then 120-foot waves, she became very good friends with them and went on some of the waves, not the very big ones. And she wrote about it, and she went to all the scientific meetings around the world on on volcanoes, on earthquakes, and on tsunamis. That's really the whole thing was on tsunamis. So a tsunami occurs very often from a kind of an earthquake below ground in the water. So the conclusion was, after going to all these meetings, that things haven't changed other than the amplitude is going to get greater. And she said this, and the book came out like 3 weeks before the Japanese earthquake. It was just incredible. And what she had said, the conclusion was that nothing really changes, but the speed and the velocity and the actual dynamic is greater than it's ever been, and it should get worse and worse. That's all we're looking at. So in proportion, just like the Dow had a 1,000-point move, percentage-wise, it's nothing. Wow, 506 points was the big crash of October the 19th of 1987. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't really think there's that much changing. Just the speed and the velocity is going to be really gradient. The gradient will be greater. The momentum and the torque will be greater. But that otherwise, it's. I remember it. I mean, people complaining about program buying and selling. It just always happens. So yeah. So the answer I should have said to you right away is no. I don't really see a very big difference. I do see a dynamic difference in the size. That's all.
Yeah, part of that size might be also with all these ETFs now that are forced to sell because they got all the different companies within the ETF.
That's a different thing altogether. Okay, that is mechanics. Okay. That's a little different. Yes. So I don't know if I've helped you.
Yep,
thank you very much. Always a good call, Ben. Thank you very much. So, folks, let's just continue with this one. I want you to look at is, look, high-grade copper.